Welcome, Pizza the Rashid here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up Android SDK, which contains all the tools needed for developing Android apps. In order to download Android SDK, open your browser and go to developer.android.com. This is the Android developer website. Scroll down a bit or press this link to directly go to download section. Here, you can download in one of two ways: Android Studio package including Android SDK or SDK tools package. Click this link to download Android SDK tools for Windows. Accept the license terms and click this button. Zip file is fairly large, it will take some time to download. One thing to note here: if you want to work with Microsoft Visual Studio emulator for Android, which uses a registry key to identify the location of Android SDK, then you need to download one of the installer file. The installation will create registry key for you, or you can manually create it by yourself if you want to download a zip file. Create a new folder. Right-click zip and select Extract Files. Select folder where you want to unzip and hit OK. This will extract Tools folder. Go to Tools folder and run Android batch file to launch a standalone SDK manager screen. This will list all the tools and versions of SDKs installed. First, click on Deselect All link to make sure nothing is selected to avoid installing something you don't want to install. There are three important tools you need to install: Android SDK tools, Android SDK platform tools, Android SDK build tools. If you want to test your app on any API level, then you need to select SDK platform and Intel x86 Atom system image for those APIs. This is enough to get started. If your app supports Google services like Maps, Google+, etc., then select this image as well. If you go to this URL, you will see large number of devices running: Marshmallow, Lollipop, and KitKat. I'm going to download API level 25, 23, 22, and 19. Let's select SDK platforms and system images for those APIs. Select Android Support Repository and Google Repository. If you got Google Nexus phone and you want to debug and test your app on it, then select Google USB driver package. Driver file is downloaded at this path into the SDK directory. If you go to this URL, you will find links to the websites for several original equipment manufacturers to download the appropriate USB driver for your device. You don't need USB driver on Mac or Linux. You also need to select HXM installer. If you are unable to download due to any reason, then go to this URL and download Windows zip file. Once you have selected all the desired packages, click Install Packages button. This will open up the window. Click Main heading on top of each package if you got more than one selected. Click Accept License. Now click Install. The download progress is shown at the bottom of the SDK Manager window. It will take some time to download the packages. Let's add environment variable for the SDK. Go to Search and type path. Select Edit the system environment variables. System Properties window will pop up. Click Environment Variables button. There are two different sets of environment variables here: user variables and system variables. Click New to open a dialog window. Type variable name and variable value. Click Browse Directory and select Android SDK root path. This will be variable value. Additionally, you need to add these folders to the path environment variable. Select path variable and click Edit to open a window. Click New and type this path. Do the same for Tools folder. Click OK to close all the windows. You might need to restart the computer. Now we are ready to do some development.